If we doubt anything about our picks, we don't have to doubt last year's first round pick. Because Myles Garrett is the truth. That boy is seriously the truth. What's up, y'all? You know what it is. This is Anthony Sellers.
That's Eric Jordan.
And this is Browns in Our Blood. Preseason week 4.
Almost done.
Almost done. Almost time for regular season. And I'm extremely pumped. We outside on location again. And every time we decide to shoot at this spot, it decides to be the hottest day of all days. Which means it makes for a beautiful shot.
Yes, it does.
But it is hot.
Last week's preseason game versus the Eagles.
Hey, let's talk about last week's game.
Last week's game. I really like the defense. 5-0. It's great to watch against one of the first string. The only concern with that, though, is they didn't have their top 3 running backs, I noticed.
True. Or the top quarterback.
Yeah.
And the top wide receiver, Alshon Jeffers. Yeah. Still, though, they are the Super Bowl champions.
And that was basically their first team, so
yeah.
I was really impressed with that.
I was really impressed with Myles Garrett. I mean, I was impressed with the defense, period. Like I said last week, the speed of the defense really looks good. What really stood out this week was the lack of penalties. The discipline looks really tight.
They didn't have any penalties, did they?
I don't think they
had
I wanted
any
to say that, but I wasn't sure. But I don't think they had any penalties. Now, I know they didn't have any penalties in the first half. If we doubt anything about our picks, we don't have to doubt last year's first round pick. Because Myles Garrett is the truth. That boy is seriously the truth. As all pro. That pick worked out. And we're going to come back to this topic. I almost put this topic down, but I'm like, no, I'm going to save this for later in the year. How much credit does Sashi Brown really deserve? Does he deserve any credit on this at all? And I ain't going to even go down that rabbit hole right now. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
We'll have to see some wins behind that first. That's how pumped up I am, because I started looking at this. I'm like, man, Sashi gets some of this credit. But like I said, we won't go down that rabbit hole. We'll deal with that later.
Oh, yeah.
We saw a real defense with our number 1-0, and it didn't click like it was, like it has against the other teams, against the Bills and the Giants. We went against some real D.
That's to be expected against a real defense.
But the Eagles defense, I think we would have found some points on the board eventually. 5-0, that's kind of like, how I expect our games are going to be this year. Especially with Tyrod, it's going to be like that. Tyrod ain't no gunslinger. I think against defenses that are not as good as the Eagles, we will put up some points. But when we meet them good defensive teams, this is kind of like what I expect it to be.
That actually segues good into, is it wrong in Hugh Jackson not starting Josh Gordon for week 1?
Is Hugh Jackson right for not starting Josh Gordon week 1?
I think it's good Hugh is not starting Josh in week 1.
You're surprising me then.
No, because for a couple of reasons. One, it's a great message to your team. As a head coach and as a leader, it's a great message to your team that not one person gets any exceptions, that the whole team plays by the rules.
And that he's still got to earn.
You got to come back, earn your spot. I love that. 2, we don't want him to get hurt. That soft tissue, when you rush it back, when you rush back, it's not in game shape. That's when you pull a hammy. That's when you pull a calf. We don't want that.
Just because he's not starting either doesn't mean he's not going to get a lot of snaps,
right.
A lot of playing time. Like, I still think he's going to be a factor in that week 1 game. As long as his hamstring holds up, he's going to be a factor some way.
Oh yeah, I expect him to score.
Yeah,
I expect him to see the end zone. If Josh is dressed and ready to go, I expect him on every game to see the end zone. Now, am I a little, yes, I'm a super Josh fan, but that's just how it is. Yeah, I know y'all waiting on it. Bless! He is the ruler of the universe.
I think he's going to still get a lot of playing time in it,
right.
And just having so many weapons this year,
right.
So much more depth is going to make such a huge difference.
I agree. But overall, I think the message is big, and I think that's great leadership by Hugh. I really do.
What Browns player will do the best in fantasy football?
This one's dear to our heart. Which Browns player do you think is going to do best in fantasy football?
Well, since I picked Duke Johnson in our fantasy football league, our season-long league, I'm going to go with him. However, I think it's going to be probably Jarvis.
Jarvis?
Yeah.
Completions?
I did get Callaway, too.
Did you Callaway?
Yeah, I got Callaway on a sleeper.
I took Josh Gordon. He was there. I couldn't believe he was still there. I love it. Please let the rest of the drafts go like that. Everybody's sleeping on Josh and Carlos Hyde. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be Jarvis. I think it's going to be Jarvis because I think Jarvis
Just
is...
because of the amount of receptions he'll get, the volume he's going to get.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And when Josh starts really producing, he should draw some double teams, which really means Jarvis is going to
Exactly.
get it. But, you know, honestly, I've been battling with this back and forth with fantasy. Do I take Jarvis or do I take Josh, depending who's there? I got two theories on it. I'm really big on chemistry, and I definitely see chemistry between Jarvis and Tyrod. But then the other theory is don't pass on the freak. Don't pass on the freak of nature. That's your Julio Joneses, your Josh Gordons, your Adrian, well, it used to be Adrian Petersons, but now your Saquon Barkley's, your Todd Gurley's. These are your freaks of nature. People that just like Myles Garrett. You know, that's why we couldn't pass on that. Like, I wanted, you know, but I wasn't mad about it because I'm like, that dude's a freak.
Right.
You know, so you got to get him. So, but I'm with you. I think Jarvis, when it's all said and done, Jarvis is going to have the most fantasy points.
Yes, because he's just going to get the most volume, like the most work. He's going to get the most work.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I like that because he deserves it. He put in the time and work. Him and Tyrod put in the time and energy to work.
Oh, yeah, it's not by mistake.
Not by mistake.
So far, in preseason, what Browns player has stood out?
So far, our 3 preseason games, which Brown player has stood out the most to you?
I want to say Kendricks, honestly.
Ooh, you know what? I forgot about that. Yes, he
Yes,
has stood out, yes.
Yes. We got so much depth at the linebackers. We just got a lot of depth everywhere this year, and it's
new.
yeah, it's new, unexpected.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Kendricks is the one that's giving me the most, like, stood out the most.
To me, it ain't too big of a surprise for me, but it's Myles. You know, Myles is doing what Myles is supposed to do, but until you
Right.
see it, you know, and you really see, like, and man, when I saw him in practice, him and Jamie Collins, man, they stood out, like, literally stood out. Like, who's the men among boys? Like, oh, that's what they was talking about. 'Cause I didn't really see much Myles in college.
I didn't either, but he's got a quick first step.
Oh man, and then when I saw the artsy side of him that they showed him in Hard Knocks, you know, like, okay, you need to have that little beast in you. Oh, but man, he got the beast in him.
Yeah.
He's the real deal. Myles Garrett, that's what stood out to me. Like I said, I know he was supposed to stand out, being the number 1 pick. But man,
Yeah, that's the whole reason I didn't say him, is because, you know, he's doing what I expect from him.
yeah, true that.
Like, he's holding his end of the bargain of being the first pick, even if it was last year.
But how many times has us as Browns fans
Just say, wow. Quite a bit.
Quite a bit. So yeah, it was good to see a pick of ours do what it was supposed to do, basically.
Yeah.
Do the Browns go after Khalil Mack on the trade?
Do we go after Khalil Mack?
If the price is right, yes.
So what's the price?
I don't know.
What's the right price for you?
You're obviously going to give up a first round pick.
Got to give a first round.
At least.
He's worth it. He's so worth it. But Khalil, do you do like a first round and a first round pick and a Joe Sherbert?
Don't do Schobert. Schobert's too young.
Like maybe
I would.
Jamie Collins, like you was talking about.
Like I said last week, he'd be the most logical.
Oh man, he just had an interception last week too. His stock is really high right now.
Yeah, I don't see him doing it. I don't think they're in the market as much. They're probably looking more for trying the offensive line, because that seems to be our weak spot right now. So front office is probably looking that route. But if there was a way to pull it and swing it, I'd say go for it.
First round and Jamie Collins and Khalil Mack. Make it happen, Dorsey. Make it happen. Well, I don't know. That's a lot.
But then you have a whole year to try to recoup that first round pick.
Right.
Join our FanDuel Fantasy Football League.
You guys like fantasy? Be sure to join our FanDuel League. Got it up and running. He's already got his lineup set up. He also won last year, so we got to knock him down from winning.
I've been looking at my championship belts on Amazon. They're pricey.
A little bit.
But you know, I went on YouTube and found how to make one, so that might happen.
You can also find all of our videos at Monstalung Soundvision.
On YouTube?
On YouTube. You can subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, let us know how we're doing. And you can also find our show in podcast form if you don't like looking at our faces. -podcastgroup.com.
Come get this butt whooping in fantasy. Catch us here every Wednesday. And we'll see y'all next week, man. Browns in our blood. Once again, that's Anthony Sellers.
And that's Eric Jordan.
And this is Browns in our blood.